What is up, boyos? It is Water Buffalo Man here and back for more Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle. Alright, so we have the information on the new Super Dragon Ball Heroes units that are probably, hopefully, dropping tonight. Let's jump on in and just dive into this. There's a lot of new units they announced with their awakenings, and this is probably what the banner will be fully filled with, or what these units we're going over here. But let's just jump right in. We have Janemba Modified, or known as Black Janemba. He's a crossover Key 3 150 with Rakshas's Radiant Bullet as his super attack. Causes supreme damage to enemy and raises attack and defense. His stats look pretty good. Excuse me, stats look pretty good. He doesn't look bad at all. Does it say what it does? Raises attack and defense by 30% and lowers enemy attack and defense for 3 turns. So for 3 turns he gets that 30% buff. Okay, not bad. Link skills are Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis. He got Big Bad Bosses. That's the big one I was hoping he would stay with. But everything else looks pretty good. He's only got 4 categories. I mean, Accelerated Battle and Corroded Body and Mind is kind of nice, because he'll really buff that up. But let's just read his passive skill. That's the meat and potatoes. That's why we're here. So, Dr. W's Deed. Launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. Guards all attacks for 5 turns from the character's entry turn. So 5 turns, that means he'll get 3 turns of guarding, I think is how it goes. For every 3rd turn he appears, unless if you have him in the 3rd slot. Attack defense 40% per crossover category, so he's really going to be exclusively the crossover team, which is kind of alright. Plus an additional attack of 80% of each attack performed up to 240, plus an additional defense of 60% up to 180 with each attack received. Okay. Key +2 and great chance of performing a critical hit starting from the character's next attack and turn after the character performs or receives the 5th attack in battle. So if he gets hit 3 times and does a double super, you get the Key 2 and great chance of crit. So this man, you generally want to build dodge or additional is what it's looking like to me. That's okay. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. Alright, Golden Metal Cooler. Same thing, Key 3 150, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, which is nice. Attack and defense 200%, plus an additional attack of 80%, attack and defense of 80% if HP is 50% or more when performing. I like that. When performing a super attack, launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super, so that means chance of greatly raising attack and defense twice. So you generally, in my opinion, want to build him with additionals. Reduces damage received by 20%, so he gets 20% damage reduction. Great. Key +1 up to 5, plus an additional attack of 40% up to 200, and an additional damage reduction of 8% up to 40 per crossover. Okay, hold on. So this man starts with 20% damage reduction, gets an additional 40 if he's on a pure crossover team, so Dragon Ball Heroes. So that's 60% damage reduction, plus an additional 200% attack, and... well, the only thing that sucks is his super attack is sealed if your HP is 20% or less. So he needs to be above that 20% threshold or he loses his super attack ability. But that's not terrible. But if he double supers, that's double stacking, greatly raising. Plus the 60% damage reduction. He is better. Does he have Big Bad Bosses? I didn't look. He does not. Okay, so see, that's kind of a little bit of a for him. He doesn't have Big Bad Bosses, and he doesn't really have much that links. He does have Cold Judgment, which is kind of nice, and Shattering the Limit, which he's going to get. But he really doesn't have much that links with anybody else. So that might make him a little but his stats look pretty decent. Defense, in my opinion, is really, really low. It looks it. But that could be because of the 60% damage reduction. Alright, next up, we have the Fu. Apparently, this man's pretty terrible. From what I'm seeing, he's Battle of Wits, Key 3 130. I like that he's in a whole separate category, not crossover anymore, which is kind of nice. Okay, so attack and defense 150, plus an additional attack and defense of 150 when performing a super, so that's 300. What's so bad about that? Extreme class allies, attack and defense 30%, so he's a support unit. Randomly changes key spheres to a certain type to key spheres. STR, whatever changes anything to STR, which is not bad when there's 3 or more crossover categories. Okay, plus an additional attack of 100% with a STR key sphere obtained. So if he gets 1 STR, he gets an additional attack of 100. Okay. Why is this bad guy bad? I don't understand why people are saying he's bad. Chance of evading enemy's super attack, or attack in general, up to 50%, and extreme class allies key +1 up to 5, plus an additional attack and defense of 4% up to 20 per STR or rainbow key sphere obtained. Whichever key sphere is collected more will be counted. So you could get 5 STR key spheres. He has a 50% chance to dodge. His allies get 5 key and an additional 20% attack and defense on top of the 30 he gives you. So he's, in essence, if you give him 5 STR key spheres, he's a key 5, 50% to stats for support unit, and a 50% chance to dodge, and he also raises his defense on his super. And he has Big Bad Boss's Cold Judgment and Fierce Battle. Cold Judgment's a defensive link. Big Bad Boss is an offensive and defensive link. That's pretty solid. The only thing I could see being the major issue is that you rely on the 5 Rainbow or 5 STR key spheres, but still, that's not bad. That's really good. Why are people complaining? I want all of these units. I've got 300 stones. I'm going hard. I'm going to be buying more too, probably. All right, Broly. I heard this one's pretty terrible. This one I'm kind of worried about, to be honest. Time Traveler's Key 3, 130. Raise the defense for 4 turns. All right, we'll deal with that. Limit Breaking Devil. Key 3, 200% to attack defense, plus an additional 100% when attacking. Launches an additional attack, a high chance of becoming a super attack. Launches an additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. So theoretically, he could launch 3 supers consecutively if you're facing 2 or more enemies. Launches another additional attack, so great chance of becoming a super when the fused. Okay, yeah, so he does kind of suck. If you face a fused fighters unit plus any type of 2 or more units, he's going to have a chance of hitting 4 supers, stacking his defense for 4 turns with 4 supers, plus his built-in additional, so maybe a 5th one, theoretically. He could hit 5 supers. I mean, I guess that's kind of good. He does have Saiyan Roar, which is nice, but I mean, his stats are more balanced, so maybe that'll help his defense out a little bit. I don't know about him. He seems like they tried to make him too much of an additional super attack guy. It's like they looked at Broly when you're super full power Saiyan 4 Limit Breaker Broly, which should be a monster, shouldn't be anything close to this level of power off just a single villain's unit. And they were like, okay, we're going to turn you down like by 6 points. He's the worst so far. Alright, we have Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Berserk Controlled. Crossover 130 again, which kind of sucks, but raises defense for 1 turn, disables enemies' guard, and causes... what? Causes supreme damage. Okay, so nothing special. Okay, Key 3, 180. I mean, that's alright. Oh, someone got on. Key 3, 180, plus an additional attack and defense of 50%, and chance to form a critical hit, plus 10% per Dragon Ball Heroes category ally on the team. So he gets 50% per Dragon Ball category ally on the team, or are those two separate? If that's the same, that's pretty good. But I don't see a comma. So I think that's all consecutively. So if you're on a full Dragon Ball Heroes team, he gets an additional like 300% per Dragon Ball Heroes units on the team, which is kind of cool. Plus an additional attack and defense of 40% with each super attack performed up to 120. Plus an additional attack of 120 and chance for a critical hit, plus 50% when facing only 1 enemy at the start of turn. Launches an additional super attack, which is a high chance of... well, I lost that. Launches an additional super attack and high chance of evading enemies' attack when facing 2 or more enemies. So that tells me... a lot of these things are 2 or more enemies, which tells me that the new red zones that they're coming out with are probably going to have a couple 2-enemy fights to really capitalize on these abilities that are built into the units. I like this Vegeta. I think he's pretty good. He could be really, really solid. Since he raises his defense, that kind of is really beneficial. Alright, let's see. What do we got next? Alright, we're down to the final 2, and then we'll watch the active skills. Alright, so let's jump into Rose Super Saiyan 3 Crimson Mask Saiyan. He's Dragon Ball Heroes Super Saiyan 3 or Transformation Boost, Key 3 170, plus an additional 30% to crossover. We knew that was coming. Let's look at his link skills a little bit. He's got Brutal Beatdown, Super Saiyan, Godly Power, Prepared for Battle, Nightmare, Fear of Faith, and Fierce Battle. Not terrible. The categories he fit, though, are amazing. But let's continue. Pursuit of Greater Power, Key 3 180, plus an additional 150 when attacking, so he would need to be a Slot 2 unit. High chance of guarding all attacks, plus an additional defense of 100% and guards all attacks, and then another 3 or more. Okay, no, so he might be a Slot 1 because of that. Okay, so he has guard when he's on a crossover team. So if you run him on an extreme crossover team, or run him on... could you run him with Roses? Probably wouldn't work. He'd have to be a Slot 2 unit on that team. But on a crossover team, you could easily run him and he could be your Slot 1 because he has guard, plus he gets that additional defense, and then when he supers, he raises his defense, plus he gets an additional 150 when attacking, so he could be decent. Launches an additional attack, there's a great chance of becoming a super attack when there's an enemy named Goku. Okay. I mean, like I said, he raises his defense, he stacks attack infinitely, which is good. That is really, really good, because that means you can make him ridiculously strong when you transform him on the 5th turn. I did look into him a little bit. His stats are kind of meh, in my opinion. They could be a little better. I was hoping the defense would be a little higher, because we do need another really strong defender on Rose's team, or on, Zamasu's team, and this man I was hoping could be it. But we don't know yet. He's not in the game. We still could see that. Nothing changes on his leader skill, but passive skill increasing the limit. Recovers 40% HP once only when he transforms, which is on the 5th turn from the start of battle, I think. Where does it say that? Does it say it? Does it say it? It doesn't say it. I think it's from the 5th turn from the start of battle, to be honest. Let me see if I can find that really fast. It doesn't specify, which kind of sucks. Oh, yeah, right here. Transform starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Okay, so he transforms into this on the 5th turn, gets super beefy. What else? What else? Where was I? Here we go. Okay. From the next, he gets 40% instantly. And from the next turn onward, he recovers 15% at the start of each turn, HP-wise. That's great. Especially on Zamasu's team, that is ideal because that team is going to be filled with health. Key +4, attack and defense 200%, plus an additional 150 when attacking. Raises attack and defense by up to 150, the more HP remaining, the greater the stats boost. Guaranteed guard, guards all attacks. Guaranteed guard when transformed, which is ridiculous. Launches an additional attack with a high chance of becoming a super attack. And if there's an enemy whose name includes Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan launches another additional attack, there's a great chance of becoming a super. So he could theoretically double super, none of his links change. He could double super, if not triple super, depending on how his passive is built. Stacking his attack and defense 3 times, plus has a guaranteed guard. I like what they did with him. He's my number 2, though, in my opinion. This man is number 1. I want this guy. Dragon Ball Heroes, Giant Ape Power, Fused Fighter. He is a AGL type unit, which we really needed. Key 3, 170 of those stats, categories I said, and then 30% to crossover, which is alright. He has an active skill, which I'll go over later. Raises attack for 1 turn and causes immense damage to enemy. Where did it go? Yeah, that's it. That's just all it is. And the active skill is can be activated when all allies attacking the same turn are crossover. From the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or from the 6th turn from the start of battle. He just gets the guaranteed crits like everybody else does. So nothing special on that one. But, passive skill. Activates the entrance animation upon entering. And chance of performing crit goes up by 30%. Well, he gets a 30% chance to perform a crit from just that. Plus, he gets 30% damage reduction for the 6 turns from that entry turn. Then he gets Key 3, 200% to stats, plus an additional 150 when performing a said super, plus an additional 100 and great chance of launching a super attack when there's another Giant Ape Power crossover category ally attacking the same turn, which you're literally going to be linking him up with the Fizz STR Vegito. There's no reason you wouldn't. They're going to have ideal... They have the same link set. They do. Ideally, they have the same link set. So, they're going to link perfect. Plus, he gets... excuse me. Or he gets that when he faces Giant Ape Power or crossover category enemy. Chance of performing a critical hit plus 40%. And an additional 30% damage reduction when all allies attacking the same turn are Giant Ape Power or crossover. So if you run him on a Super Saiyan 4 Super Dragon Ball Heroes team, he gets 60% damage reduction for the first 3 turns. All of these defensive buffs, 200%, 150, 100, 40% chance to crit, 30% chance to crit. This man has a 70% chance to crit on his own team from the first turn for the first 6 turns. And he has 60% damage reduction. Then he's probably, I would put him slot 2 depending on how they build the Fizz Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. He could be slot 1 or slot 2. And that's the best rotation in the game right there. One of the best rotations in the game. Easy. Easy. Especially with how strong they made this guy. Okay, I'm excited. I gotta calm down. I'm getting too excited about this. But let's just jump right into the animations here really quick. Oop, no. Pause. I'm not ready for you yet. Let's jump into these and see what they look like. I gotta lower this down a little bit. I don't want to be too loud. And let's jump right in. I have part of the screen cut off, don't worry about that, it's my apologies. You get to see the main part and that's all that really matters. Okay, so these are probably the units that are going to be featured on the banner. Which is kind of nice. I mean, the Fu I don't have. Actually, no, that Toa, I'm sorry, is a free-to-play unit. The Fu isn't, he's on the banner, this Broly's on the banner. Let's see. I think they look pretty decent. This Vegeta looks really good. Like, the animations around this man look so clean. I'm excited. I honestly am. I'm excited for these units. Rose. Dude, Rose is probably my favorite villain, as you guys can see from my sidebars and any of my other videos. So he's someone I want to get. I'm probably going to try to 100% these units. I'm not going to lie to you. They made this man super beefy. It's like he went to the gym pre-fight and the creatine finally kicked in as he's about to box. It's like man's pre-workout kicked in. So clean, dude. I kind of hate that it seems like they pretty much copied, for the most part, the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeto's super attack, but he doesn't have the counter, I noticed, that the other Vegito has. Okay. Yeah, so those units look absolutely fire. I'm not going to watch this video because that's the same thing. If we get this completed, we'll get 5 free stones. But there you guys have it. The units are looking really, really good. The banner's looking stacked. I'm hoping it comes out. I know it comes out on the 21st. It'll probably be tonight at 2 a.m. or at reset tomorrow because today is the 20th. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time when we're summoning for these boys. And lady, see you guys then.